Morning. It's been a little while since I've done this. Well, it feels like that anyway. It was only last week, obviously, but just a quick check-in. New supply of testosterone's come, and I've had to order a new sharps bin because obviously I've gone through that quite quickly. And that was one of the things I looked into last week, was having to find somewhere that'll obviously take the sharps bin in. So that's not as easy as I thought it was going to be, because I did know that some pharmacies do it, but they haven't got the facility anymore, so I have to check with my doctors. But obviously when you first get your first batch of everything, you get the full big box that I put on the very first video, but resupplies just come in little boxes like this. So we'll check into it and see how things are. And it just comes via Royal Mail. So it makes it really easy. You don't have to have any special facility to it. Obviously packaged fairly well, considering all it is a sharps bin and a new dose. So sharps bin, nothing particularly interesting about that. But I do have another test. So I think it's a slightly different brand to the last one. I believe. Yeah, slightly different. So that was the first one, new one. Obviously same doses and everything, so that's no problem. And then I got some more Torback water and HCG, which is a shame because when you make these up, you're only using like a small amount of water to make it up, but so then the rest kind of goes to waste. Because when I was speaking to the clinic before, they said that if you haven't used it all within a certain time frame, the water has like a shelf life, and by the time I come to remake the next lot up, the shelf life's gone. So it is a bit of a shame because you get far more than you need to make up the dose, but my dose is never really going to change. That's always going to be the same as far as I'm aware. So yes, that's where we are with that. I am going to put in this video a little bit later on, I'll go through the numbers as well, the increase in my testosterone numbers, because I know that has been a bit of an interest for some people. I've had some messages of people just saying like, what's the difference between obviously starting numbers and then where you are now. I do have to give blood. That's one of the things that they do recommend, that obviously your red blood cells can increase. So just for obviously safety measures and stuff, that's the thing I'm going to be looking to book in next, is my blood donation. But yeah, just thought I would check in with where I am with these things. Like I say, it's such a simple process, and you can just basically order what you need. Like I could have put for everything in. I could have put a whole new big box of, you get boxes of needles. I've got more than enough. I don't need to be asking for more. I've got a sharps bin now which is full, so I'm going to seal that one off. So all you got to do is just shut it and it clicks in. Once it's locked in, it can't be reopened, and that's it. It's going to go now to get sent off. A new one ready to go just in time for tomorrow's dose, and supply meds for the next bit. Like I say, I don't need anything else right now, just kept it as is, and that's pretty much it. So what I will do is I'll check in shortly. I am literally just trying to get everything done at the minute. Like I previously said, I'm trying to build out a new app. Well, I'm trialing a few new apps, but in order for that to work, I've got to put in all my data and stuff to make sure it's all above board. And then the clients that are trialing it, they're running with it and making sure that they're happy and it's doing what they wanted. Still coming off the back of a cold, so that's a big effect there. But apart from being a bit congested, a bit stuffy, I'm not suffering too much. Training's good, all that kind of good stuff. So just trying to keep on top of client care, making sure they're all taken care of, and keeping on top of all this side of things. But I did have a call, like I said, last week with the clinic, and doses aren't changing. They're quite happy with everything. So although my testosterone numbers are slightly on the high side, they're still in the high normal. They're not worried about changing those over. So I will keep you posted, and they know what the numbers are.
We're currently on Wednesday. Now, Wednesdays for me can be a bit of a hit and miss day. It tends to be the day that I do a lot of meetings, a lot of background work and catch up with clients. But the weather is good. It's on our side. I've done the meetings this morning. I've done some work because I wanted to make most of the weather today. And we've trained. So we're going to get out and enjoy what we can of the day. And I'm going to take you along with us.
And your word don't choke. We don't run from stones, we ride them down with a fistful of callous and a spine full of sound. We skin our deer and clean our guns, raise hell at night and we rise with the sun. Ain't no bloodline bred for fear. We make moonshine and shift that gear. Try to tame us, we'll break your fence. You can't kill roots this deep in the fan. 'Cause country blood don't break.
We're out for a walk, and as promised, I would update a little bit more about my numbers. Obviously, we last checked in earlier in the week when we went out on the bikes, and that actually is the first time we've announced to pretty much anyone that we have bikes. We've kind of kept that secret because I've always been a big lover of, find your piece and keep it. Other people will just generally spoil it. The numbers are vastly different to when I first started out. I have had to write them down because I'm terrible for remembering little details like that. But obviously I did the first blood test, which was a finger prick, and then had to go to the clinic. 6 weeks in, it had increased, my total testosterone had increased by 6.2, and my free testosterone, not quite so much, but that wasn't something I was told to worry about. That had only gone up by like a very small amount, by 0.18. But that was when I changed the process. That was when I changed into injecting into the leg as opposed to the stomach, and the dose had been increased slightly. My recent test has come back, and in comparison to the very first full blood test, and that's what I'm referring it off because obviously they were the most consistent numbers. It's now, my total test is 16.36 difference from when I started to where I am now, and my free test is 0.50 in comparison. So there's been something like a 2.5% increase on, my total testosterone, which is huge, and I can definitely feel the difference for that. It still is fine tuning, thinking about a little bit more about the training, the nutrition, that side of stuff. But as far as other things go, there's definitely the significant increase there. And I don't really care what people said. Despite whatever food I was going to eat, or all the other little things, or any herbal remedies you think you can take, nothing was going to bring up my testosterone like that. It just wouldn't do it. And so that means if I have to complete a TRT plan, or continually work on a TRT plan, it's worth it in my eyes. I mean, it's made a whole lot more sense, hasn't it? Yeah. It's everything just feels better for it. So they're the numbers. I probably will at some point say what those numbers actually are, but at the minute that's just what I'm working on, and I'll keep updating as things go on. Just realised that I said a 2.5% increase when actually I mean 2.5 times increase. This is why I write these things down, because I want to make sure I'm getting the numbers right. But yeah, there has been significant changes in the latter part of the TRT program. There has been more consistency at the latter part of it. And like I've always said throughout, I've never really had a lot of the negative side effects of low testosterone. in terms of low libido and all that kind of stuff, I just noticed I wasn't recovering as well. I wasn't feeling myself, my mindset wasn't there, my mental clarity was a little bit swayed off, so I'd get distracted way easier, and that hasn't gone totally, but it's a lot better. So all in all, so far, 12, 13 weeks down the line, I'm a bit further ahead of it than that now. I'm actually feeling like it is the right thing to do, but it certainly is for me. I'm not saying everyone has to do it, but when I've cross-referenced my numbers with other medical professionals, they've said exactly the same. Like no amount of diet changes or even lifestyle changes were going to naturally bring my testosterone back up, and I'm okay with that. It is a kind of I suppose a masculinity thing. Like when you first find out your testosterone's low, you feel like you're not performing as a man and you're not doing what you should be doing or feeling how you should be feeling. But the reality is, it's just part and parcel of life, and I'm doing what I think or what is needed for me.
Don't you think though that when men feel like you the way you did, and sometimes probably even worse, they don't even think to look at that?
Yeah.
They don't even think to look at, hang on a second, this could just be like a testosterone thing that I could have help with.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's no science behind it, and I definitely can't say it's the case, but I have noticed a lot of men my age, and I'm 41, so roughly around this age, have now started being diagnosed with ADHD and autism and all these other things, which I'm not denying aren't true. Those things are definitely out there. But is it really that's the case? Or is it just they're all running on low testosterone? When they get distracted easier, they get less temperamental, they're losing their little joy in things.
Aggression, like you always said about your aggression, you didn't mean like starting fights and stuff like that, but you just mean like your aggression in the gym and your aggression when it comes to accomplishing things. You don't really give a shit that much anymore, do you? And that's part of it.
Yeah, that is definitely it, the aggression in things. Like Catherine's just said there, like the aggression toward just your everyday life, not that you want to go out starting fights. However, I did have a little bit of road rage back there.
That was I think anybody who could drive properly would have had a little bit of road rage about that.
Yeah.
If you don't know what a give way sign is, I don't think you really should be driving.
I'm fairly confident, or we are fairly confident, that Mickey Mouse is handing driving licences out to people at the minute. Because the standard of driving it's abysmal. It's horrific. But yeah, going back to it, I wonder how many men, if they actually had their testosterone levels checked. And again, I have had comments off people saying, you know, imagine a company that sells testosterone or TRT, does a test and comes back and says that your levels are low. Well, like I've said before in the past, I did this test 2 years ago and my testosterone levels were fine then. They were in the lower bracket of the normal, but they were still in the normal bracket, and they said that, you know, that TRT wasn't an option for me. I'm going to do a third party. I'm going to do a blood test with another group that just basically do tests. They don't sell the testosterone, they don't prescribe it. I just want to get my blood markers done by somebody else. So that'll be interesting to cross-reference those numbers, because out of curiosity, and I suppose the scientist in me wants to know what those numbers look like. But if you have made it this far on this video, I do appreciate all the support I get, and all the people that are liking and commenting. And if you are, and I know there's a few people who have started the TRT journey, please let me know if you find these videos are helpful. Drop me a message. I'll be more than happy to reply to those responses privately or in a video. Again, thank you, and I'll check in with you soon.